Hello everybody, my name's Pixel here, and today we're back with a brand new video where we are finally doing a video on the Pillar Chase 2 Recode. I've been saying I'd be doing one for a while and I'm finally here doing it. So without further ado, let's just hop straight into it because I've got a lot to say about this Recode. So let's start off with why they did the Recode in the first place. And I think if I remember correctly, the whole reason they did the Recode was because of Sonic.exe The Disaster. That's how it started and that's how it evolved. So basically, Sonic.exe The Disaster was a Roblox ASIM game that got taken down by Sega, right? Because it used their copyrighted characters. Now, Sega hasn't really done this before, but they randomly did it to that game. Don't know why. I think that became a whole situation then with outcome memories or something, or that might have been its own thing. Can't entirely remember and I don't want to get into it because I don't know much really. But then that became a thing for Pillar Chase 2 where they realised that, oh wait, we've got a load of copyrighted characters in our game. Obviously some being based off Sonic and some obviously being based off Mario. There was Springtrap in the game, Bendy, there was Baldy, and even though they gave credit to who made them and stuff, and they still were using the copyright characters basically like without permission. So it became a case of, okay, let's go through and let's start like remodeling some of these guys to, you know, make them not copyrighted. And then I don't know the full story from there, but then it turned into, okay, how about we just completely remake the game from the ground up, right? A new fresh set of characters, well, not a new fresh set, but like just remake the game from the ground up. And this is where like things get a bit, I don't really know the full story. I don't know the full story, but of like the why, like what happened and stuff, because obviously it was a very confusing mess. And I think a lot of people don't know. But basically they were going to just recode the game from the ground up and stuff, removing copyrighted characters, changing some stuff up and everything like that. They were going to keep Legacy as their own separate game, which they still plan on doing. But they were just going to recode Pillar Chase and do it from the ground up pretty much. And so that's what led to, you know, what we have today. And so yeah, let's just talk about the let's just talk about the Recode now, my thoughts on it. Before we get anything started, I think the Recode, I was going to say it was terrible and I didn't like it. I still don't much like it, but they did an update recently that made me like it a bit more. Though there is definitely some stuff I still want in the game for them to do. But let's just start off with like the whole miscommunication and just like the lack of communication about which characters were going to stay, which characters are going to return, which I think some people still don't even know. Like, it was hit and miss whether or not Springtrap was going to come back, like if Springtrap was going to come in the game, because they did a remodel for him. They called him Stone Husk, did a full remodel from him where you could tell, yeah, definitely inspired by Springtrap, but didn't really look like him. They were going to do Slendy Tubbies. They were going to remake, you know, Tinky Winky, you know, give him more of a different design from Slendy Tubbies and stuff. But yeah, they didn't do that in the end. For some reason. They did MX. They got like the original creator of MX to make a copyright free design for them and for MX, and it's called Brutum now, which actually released recently as like one of the new killer editions. But yeah, but other than that, when I was looking at the test servers for the Pillar Chase 2 Recode, and I was looking at like the test servers for them, I watched YouTube's cover the test servers all the way up until the very last test server. I did miss a few here and there, but I basically saw all the test servers that were happening. Never played any myself, but they all look great. You know, very similar UI. It still kind of played the same. It looked great. It looked really good. And then the game actually released, and it was not what I was expecting at all. I played like 2 days after the game released. You know, they did a bit of balance changes and stuff like that. I played, and I found it atrocious. You didn't know where the tasks were. The whole thing with the escape was so confusing to me. Like, we had escape tasks and like the escape would open, but you'd run to it And like I don't know, like it was weird. Like the escape tasks were weird. None of the tasks were highlighted for you. You didn't know what you were really doing. And another thing that still is in the game today, actually, because I have played recently after they did this certain update, which was like the skin update. But the hitboxes are really jank. The hitboxes are so janky, and I know it's not just me. I've seen other people complain about it as well. The hitboxes are so janky. Like, you will, like, run round a corner and you will still die or get hit somehow by the killer, even though they haven't you haven't even seen them turn the corner yet. You wouldn't have even seen them turn the corner yet, and somehow they'd still hit you somehow. And it's like was one of the most annoying things. And I got it as killer as well. Where as killer myself, I would hit survivors when they weren't even in my line of sight. I would swing, and they would be gone. Or while I am playing killer, or as survivor, because it was like it was both ways. I'd be up in the killer's face and they couldn't hit me. Like the hitboxes are so jank and stuff. And in most ASIM games like Forsaken, Bite by Night, you can turn on hitboxes so you know like where attack hitboxes go and stuff like that. In Pillar Chase 2, you can do that, but it's just for the killer. The killer can only see the hitboxes of where they're swinging, and you can't see it as survivor. And I'm sat there thinking like, why? Why can't why can't you see that? Why can't the survivor see the hitboxes? It would help a lot. But it's weird. It's so like, why can't you see the hitboxes as survivor? Another thing as well is that they've taken survivors out of first person and put them into third person along with the killer. So in the original game, the killer would be third person, and then you could press, I think it was right mouse button to go into first person instantly. But survivors were always in first person, which honestly I think was better that way, but now they've made them into third person, which I'm a bit confused at. But you know what, it's fine. I think that's not really like a nothing change really. I think it's okay. Maps as well, like what have they done to the maps? Like some of the maps they've done, they've just butchered some of the maps. Most maps have dead ends, which I know Bite by Night has that similar issue. But at least in that game, they're kind of small-ish maps. So it's not that big of a deal. But most of the Pillar Chase 2 maps are massive. Like, they are huge. There are some smaller maps that, are fine. But those smaller maps are kind of confusing to navigate around. Other than that, they're fine. But, like, the majority of the maps that I know are in the game are massive. Like that one sewer map, that map's huge. Why is it so big? Why is that map so big? Like that map's generally massive, and you get lost in it all the time because you don't know where you're going. There's no like landmarks you can see and be like, oh, I'm here. You get lost in it, and it's not like you can see the entire map as well, because your brightness is like compared to other ASIM games, the brightness, you can barely see like 5 feet in front of you. So it wouldn't be that bad if it wasn't for like all the darkness. But like some maps are just massive. You can barely tell like where you're going, what's going on and stuff. Now, I did mention, so those are some of the negatives I have with the game, obviously. Like the gameplay, now they have actually fixed a lot of these issues at the start of like a round. Tasks will be highlighted to you. I don't know why they're not highlighted all the time, but they will be highlighted to you. And then if you have a challenge which involves like picking, so for example, there's this one map where like there's these burning bodies on spikes, and you have to take you have to like grab a water bucket and put it on the spikes. So for example, when you pick up the water bucket, you'll get little like arrows on your screen pointing you into like the general direction of where these burning stakes are, like where the burning people are on like the stakes. So you'll be able to like tell with that. But to be honest, that little tracking thing's kind of, it's okay, but it's like it's not very good. But they have fixed stuff like that where you actually can tell where you can do the tasks. I feel like that still needs to be worked on though. Like, I feel like all the tasks need to be highlighted all the time, and then when one's completed, it like goes, it's no longer highlighted, because that would be really good if they did that. Now, there was another thing with the whole escape, which they did change in this skin update. I brought water with me this time. If you've seen my most recent third channel video about my DVD wish list, you'll know. So they changed. So in the recent update with like the skin update and stuff, they changed how the escape works, which I think was really good. Originally, you had to run up to the escape and press E to escape. Now, this isn't explained to you at all. So there's many times where I died running up to the escape, and I was getting more and more frustrated. Because if it wasn't already, because if I miraculously somehow survived until the escape with the janky ass hitboxes, I would still run up to the exit door and I'd be like, why isn't it letting me out? Why isn't it letting me out? I'm like, I would be running into it, like, why is it letting me out? And then I'd die for like no reason. I would die and I'd be getting so frustrated, like, why didn't it let me escape? Why didn't it let me escape? And then I found out that you have to press E on it. And like, why do you have to do that? But so they've changed that, and they removed the escape tasks as well, which I think was huge. Removing the escape tasks has like made the quality of life of this game actually better, because the escape tasks aren't explained to you at all. But basically, there are tasks that you can do that you kind of have to do for the escape to be open. You had to do the escape tasks kind of before the escape opened for it to show up, for the escape to like show up and stuff, and for you to be able to like, it was such a confusing system, and I'm so glad they removed it, because that just bumped up the quality of life of this game. When the previous way the escape system worked was terrible. But yeah, other than that, that's really all my negatives to do with the game. That's just me giving a quick history about why they did a recode in the first place. Well, I think I got the reason correct anyway, from what I've heard, obviously, and seen. And that's just my few negatives with the game. Like, if they can somehow fix the janky-ass hitboxes and stuff, then I think this game would be actually really cool. Like, I think this game would be really good. Don't get me wrong, though. It looks amazing, right? The game looks amazing. And when it actually works correctly, it can be quite fun. But, like, yeah, it was just really, really janky. Like, they have fixed some of the jank, but still, the hitboxes have been really janky for some reason, and I don't know why. Other than that, there's not really much for me to say. All I know is that the next update, because obviously the game released, then we got MX's redesign / rework being Brutum. I'm going to call them Brutum. I don't think that's their name. I'll obviously throw it up on screen so I can, I know who they are. But we got him, and then we were going to get the skin update, and then the next update is adding Pal Percy from Playtime with Percy, which that's pretty cool actually. And I'm going to get on a bit of side round here, but with Playtime with Percy, that FNAF fan game, when that fan game first came out on Game Jolt, I watched Dorco play it all the way through. And when I finished watching him play it all the way through, I was like, you know what, I kind of want to play this. So literally on one Saturday night, I spent 4 hours playing the entire game, and I beat it all in the same day. Didn't record it at all. That would have made a brilliant main channel video if I actually recorded it, because I beat it all in 4 hours, and that would have been a beautiful one and done main channel video of this channel that you're going to be seeing this video, and that would have made a beautiful video. But yeah, but then only a few days ago, when obviously Pillar Chase 2 announced that Playtime with Percy was going to be coming to, they were going to collab, I was like, you know what, I haven't seen what they've been doing with that game. I haven't seen what the developers have been doing. And they've announced Playtime with Percy 2. But Playtime with Percy 2 is going to come in a package deal with Playtime with Percy on Steam. They're going to be releasing Playtime with Percy, a brand new update that will be like doing a little bit of like a revamp, reimagined, not reimagined, but like kind of like a, not a remastered, but like, you know, not a remake, but they'll be doing like a remastered of the first game and putting it on Steam. And they'll be doing the same with Playtime with Percy 2 and putting it on Steam, which I thought I didn't, which in my head I was like, I don't think Scott would allow that. But to be honest, I think that was, Scott doesn't own the concept of, you know, sitting in a security office, surviving like nights and stuff. I don't think he owns that concept. That's like a very generic concept. I have no idea. So I think they are allowed to do that without getting copyright struck by Scott and asking the game to be taken down. But I think they can do that. I have no idea. But yeah, I will definitely be making videos on Playtime with Percy when obviously it comes on Steam. I'm going to wait for it to come onto Steam though before I do it. I might make one video playing for the entire game again in like one sitting and put that up. The game that's currently on Game Jolt, and then when obviously the Steam releases comes out, I'll probably make a video on that. When, you know, Playtime with Percy 2 comes out and the Steam release, I might make videos on them. But yeah, Playtime with Percy is a game I've been wanting to make a video on for a while now. I should have done it when I did that 4-hour sit-in where I beat it all after watching Dorco play it. But yeah, but that's a collab that Pillar Chase 2 is doing, and Pillar Chase 2 is actually going to be collaborating with Dark Deception as well. If anyone remembers that game, where's Chapter 5, Glowstick? Where's Chapter 5? Stop doing Super Dark Deception. Stop doing these spin-offs. Just give us Chapter 5 already. People have been waiting. I haven't been waiting, but I know other people have been waiting for like a good 5 years at this point. Just give us Chapter 5. Just give us the final chapter. Just do it, and then you can work on your spin-offs. You know, just do that, please. Now, to be honest, putting Playtime with Percy in the game though, that's kind of like the Springtrap replacement. Considering I don't think they will ever put Springtrap back in the game. I think Baldy might be coming. I did mention this actually in that third channel video where I went over my wish list for DVD licenses. I said that in the Bending the Ink Machine section on that Bending the Ink Machine has a video game collab planned. Only one. And people are saying it's either Fortnite, Dead by Daylight, or Pillar Chase 2. That's an option as well. You know, if it came to Pillar Chase 2, that'd be really cool. I think my preferred one would probably be Dead by Daylight, maybe. That would be my preferred one. Though Pillar Chase 2 is not far behind. I don't really want it coming to Fortnite. The Huggy Wuggy Fortnite skin was cool. I bought that. No, there are new Bendy games coming out. Bendy the Cage is going to release soon, apparently. Should be getting a trailer for that soon. Because that should be releasing any time now. Bendy in the Cage sometime this year. Apparently it's going to be mature as well, which that's going to be interesting. Apparently it's going to have blood in it. Blood and gore. But yeah, that's just me talking about collabs Pillar Chase 2 are going to do. But yeah, like that's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not mad about the roster. Like, the whole thing with Pillar Chase 2 for me was that it was a super cool ASIM theme where it was all these classic internet horror icons and stuff in the game, and I found that really cool. Like a unique ASIM with all these creepypastas, internet horror, like old internet horror, mascot horror icons were getting put in the game, and I found that so cool. That was so cool to me. That was so unique. But they've kind of butchered that for me with the whole, you know, remodeling and recode they've been doing, and it's like it's kind of butchered the identity for me, and like the gameplay itself is not good in my opinion. Like I did say though, they have fixed one of the issues I had with it, which was the whole escape thing, and I pray to God they don't revert it. Because I've seen a few people say how they don't like it. I just pray to God that they don't revert it. I hope they don't revert it. Because honestly, it was such a good update, and it actually helped with the quality of life for me. And I hope they don't revert that escape update. But yeah, the only thing I think like the only thing I want fixing is like, I don't know much about the balance. I don't know much about the balance of the game, so I can't really speak on that. But it seems fairly balanced, to be honest. It doesn't seem too overly balanced to one side. Maybe when they fix the hitboxes, it'll be a little bit less killer-sided at the moment. Like, there's not really much other jank in the game other than that. I guess also making it so when you toggle the hitboxes, you can see it on the survivor end as well, not just the killer end. Because, like, only being able to see it as killer, that's nice, but I'd love to be able to see it as survivor as well. But yeah, other than that, that's my entire thoughts on the Pillar Chase 2 Recode. I probably won't be making any more videos for a while. I might make one when Pal Percy gets added. Who knows? I might make one when Pal Percy gets added. Possibly. But yeah, as the title suggests, it will probably be like one of my only Pillar Chase videos on the game. This will probably be like one of my only Pillar Chase 2 videos. Besides from the What to Expect from Me in 2025 video, where I used Pillar Chase 2 as the background footage. I think I did. Did I not? Or that was 2024. No, 2024 was Looming Legacy. I think I used... No, I did use Pillar Chase 2 for the background of 2025. Yeah, I think I definitely did that. But yeah, this will probably be one of my only Pillar Chase 2 videos. The only other videos you'd probably expect me to make are like possibly when I get max level on certain characters, mainly just the killers. And yeah, it will just be the killers actually, because survivor classes don't really have their own levels. You just have one overall level on survivor. So I'll probably just I might make videos on that. I'll probably make videos on new killer releases on that game, like I said, Pal Percy and the Dark Deception collab, whatever that's going to be. Probably make videos on that. Other than that, I probably won't make much videos on this game for now anyway. I'll probably make a video when Legacy returns, because I know everyone's been waiting for Legacy. Yeah, there's not really much else to say really. I think I've given my thoughts pretty well about the state of Pillar Chase 2. I will continue to play it, because I feel like if they just make a few changes, like fixing the hitboxes is the biggest thing for me, and a few other like quality of life adjustments, the game would be so much more better in my opinion. And it will be one of the regular Roblox ASIMs that I like. Interchange between, well, I haven't been doing much interchanging recently because Bite by Night's been on maintenance forever because of the Puppet update, which has been delayed actually. It was meant to release 4 days ago as I record this, but it wasn't. I know Azur's coming for Forsaken on the 20th of June, I think. That's coming at some point, so I will make a video on Azur when Azur releases in Forsaken. I will be making a video on that. There's also Jason as well for Dead by Daylight. I'll make a video on that when that releases as well. But yeah, other than that, that's really it for my thoughts on Pillar Chase 2. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.